Hello YouTubers. Today I thought I would cover my 2007 Chevrolet Silverado. Two things I'd like to cover, or two goals for this video. One, cover what makes it unique, and two, what all have I done to the truck to this point. So this is a 2007 Chevrolet Silverado, and I'm sure you probably know they made over 1.5 million of these trucks. And you're thinking, what could possibly be rare or unique about this truck? Surely it's not the paint, and you're correct. Black is on a lot of these vehicles. But what makes it rare and unique is that it's an extended cab short box. The 5'8" bed on the extended cab. And the way you can tell that it's a short box, two ways. One, fender flares. It's got fender flared out. I don't know if you can see it here, the little ghost lines of a little fender flare. If it starts at the cab and ends at the light, it's an extended, it's a short box. So the short box on the extended cab is rare. The other way you can tell that it's a short box is that the filler cap is in the flare. Normally these are sitting up in here in the flat section of the bed, not in the flared out part of the fender. So that's how you would tell riding down the road that this is a short box on the extended cab, thereby making it a pretty rare truck. So now I'd like to cover what all have I done to this vehicle. I put on wheels and tires, of course. The wheels are Chevrolet wheels, factory Chevrolet wheels for this truck. CK798 is the part number. I believe I'm telling you correct. CK798 or CK598, something like that. That's the part for this truck. Those are those wheels. They're 22-inch wheels, and I put on the factory Bridgestone Dueler tires that normally come on the Escalade 22-inch wheels. Another thing that's been done, the original owner put on the bed rails. I think between the bed rails, the chrome door handles, and the Silverado along with the wheels is just enough chrome to make this thing look sharp. It's not too much, looks just right. I've replaced the third tail light up there. I had to do that. It was cracked on the previous one and was leaking into the cab, so I replaced that. I've had to replace the rear sliding window actuator. I don't know if it's that actuator, I don't know what they call that, but it allows it to move. It's power operated, so I repaired that. It has LED bulbs everywhere, along with resistors. No hyper flashing in my car. LED reverse lights that are the brightest I could find, along with the license plate LEDs. When you put this thing in the reverse, this thing is lit. You can see the road. You can see where you're going. I also installed, it looks factory, but it's not. I installed a camera that I'll cover when I get to the inside. Factory camera, and the wiring loom is right there, just like the factory would have had it. It's got the cargo management system in it. Factory exhaust. I had to put that on. It had a Borla exhaust on it that the original owner put on there. He He enjoyed it. I like it quiet, so I found the original exhaust. Actually, it wasn't truly original. It was off of a short box crew cab, and the part I needed to match up was the rear part. So the fact that it was a short box meant I had to chop some of the pipe off in front of the muffler that connects to the not header, but after the cat there's a pipe. Had to cut it, put a flange on there, and now it's back to being factory exhaust. Had to repair the mirrors, power folding mirrors. That was one of the first things I did. The motors in these things have plastic gears by the factory, and so they break quick. These motors are from Grooven Parts, G-R-U-V-E-N, Grooven Parts. They make brass motors, brass gears, and that's what's in this truck. I replaced those probably 5 years ago, and I fold and unfold these mirrors everywhere I go. No issues, work like a champ. Highly recommend those. They come in two flavors. One is the complete assembly with the motor, and one is just the motor. I did just the motor, and I can't tell you enough. Don't do what I did. Buy the whole assembly. It took me days to fix that. Days to fix that. Unreal. To replace them. It was unreal. An unreal experience. Wouldn't recommend it to anybody. They sell the whole assembly, I'd buy the whole assembly. I cleaned up the headlights with 3M kits with the sandpaper and then the polishing compound and that sort of stuff. That's the only thing I've done to the headlights. Fog lights, I did have to replace those. They had a crack in them and water was bouncing around. So replaced the housings for the fog lights. Had to paint the wiper arms. Does have a suspension upgrade that I put in myself, and that is the Bilstein's something or others. I got all the parts, part numbers in my book. I'll show you my book in a minute. So I bought the Bilstein struts, new boot covers, and something rubber isolator. I think that's what that's called. I put that in. These are the ones that are adjustable. So the truck sits leveled out, if you will. And that's because two things. One, it has the rough country block underneath the control arm. I think it's a control arm, but anyway, there's a rough country block in there. It lifted it part of the way, and then the Bilstein has 3 adjustments to lift the vehicle up. I only had to do 1 adjustment. So it starts at the bottom, and there's 1, 2, 3 adjustments in the Bilstein shock that's supposed to level out the truck. I only had to go to 1. So between the rough country and the Bilstein, that's what it took to level out the truck. And I'll be honest, the Bilstein was a little more expensive, but well worth the money. I could tell a difference in stock, because what was in here was stock. So I didn't have ranchos or anything like that. What was in here was stock stuff. And at 270,000 miles, it needed, well, probably 250,000 miles when I did it. It needed new suspension components. And so that's what's in here. So what else? Got Bilsteins in the back, Bilsteins in the front. While we're here, yeah, those that know me, you know I've told you the underside of my vehicles are as clean as the top. There's no different on my truck. It's as clean as you would expect my truck underside to be. champ. I wanted to cover the door handles real quick. So this is the third set of door handles I've put on this truck since I've owned it, and I've owned it 6 years now. Third set. Both previous sets that I put on were Amazon. It's not Amazon's fault. I bought cheap ones on Amazon, so it's my fault and the manufacturer. But what made them cheap was when you go to open it and you close it, it would still stay open. There was no tension to pull the handle back into the system. This is the Dorman, more expensive Dormans. I think they're $40 on each side. And these are like the champ. They feel factory. Got the factory feel. So this is my truck. Notice the seat. That's probably the worst part of this whole truck. Well, I don't want to talk about that. I'll cover it, but I don't want to cover it. Anyway, I got a new seat cover for this. I cannot find it online. The part number is 2758031. It's a General Motors titanium. That's what the color they call this interior seat cover for this truck in that design. And this is the last one in America. You cannot find this online. GM Parts Direct, GM Parts Giant, GM Parts Online, GM whatever you want to call it. You cannot find this part. You can probably find it on eBay, but they don't show you the part. It doesn't reference that it's, there's no way to verify. So what I ended up doing was cold calling dealerships around me until I found it. I found it 3 hours away, and it's the last one, factory. I'm excited to replace that. The cushion, the foam is coming later today. So maybe this weekend I'll make a video on changing out the seat cover. I didn't order the top, didn't need it. I've replaced the armrest in titanium leather. It did have black leather. I did put in a Sony radio. It has an Alpine amp underneath here. It drives the speakers. That's what I use for my backup camera, and it works fantastic. Everything in this truck works. Whatever you want to push, it works. Seats up and down, the lumbar, back and forwards, both seats. If it's meant to work from the factory, it works right now in this truck. Nothing doesn't work. Climate control works. Rear window works. I did put in an 8-inch powered bazooka. I like my sound. Those that know me know I like my sound. And I could have gone with a box that would have been factory contoured to this, but it's a box across the whole back of the truck. Covers everything. And I didn't want that. I still like tucking stuff in cubbies if I can. So this 8-inch powered sub sitting on my Michelin mats worked just fine. Not in the way. Sounds great. I put in these Boston acoustic tweeters, painted them. I tried to match the paint. Not a great job, but better. Has Boston, no, I said Boston Acoustics. JBLs. Those are JBLs. Everything in here is JBL. JBL speakers. They're not the high end, but they aren't the low. I don't remember the model numbers. I've got them. The box is still in the building. But whatever they are, they sound great. This right here, with 270 some thousand miles, Been driven 15 years by me and the previous owner. Loved and cherished over that time. And my son borrows it and goes through a drive-through where there's a pole and clips the pole. All those years, all those miles, no wrecks. I don't know if you consider that a wreck, but no damages. Oh well, I'll have to get it fixed. I know a body guy. Take it over there to him, get him to fix that thing. Anyway, this thing looks fantastic. Here's the underside of the back. Like it's supposed to be. I put in the hitch. The hitch is rated at like 22,000 pounds. When I first bought the truck, I tried towing something with just a ball on it, and didn't work too well for me. So I bought a hitch along with a hitch that slides in there with the ball on it to pull it further back out the back of the truck. Anyway, this thing's rated at 22,000 pounds. The guy said, you won't have any problems with it. Well, no shit, no crap. Truck can't tow 10,000 pounds. That hitch is overkill, but it's in there. Here's my camera. I think I already mentioned, maybe. Ran factory. So some of the things else I've done to the truck, it's fully maintained. I'll just go over this. February last year, the belts, serpentine belt, idler pulley, belt tension, spark plug wires, rear differential gasket, transmission filter, engine mount, just one on the driver's side. The engine wants to yank that way when you give it gas, and the engine mount on that side was bad. This one's not a problem. It rarely ever is. So an engine mount, sway bar end links, sway bar bushings, Bilstein struts, so that's what they were for the struts, shocks, spring isolators, and I did an oil change, power steering fluid change. I did these flushes myself. You can read online on how to do these types of flushes. Brake fluid, but here I had an alignment done. But I have everything I've ever done to this vehicle and when it was done since I bought it. So I did have high beam Xenons in it, which is true. Here's my subwoofer, $300. I bought it on Amazon. DMV inspection. Anyway, vapor canister. That was a vent thing in the top of the tank. I had to pull out and replace that, $114. The gas vent solenoid, replace that too. So the car's not without its problems. Hasn't been without its problems, but I had to replace an aspirator. An aspirator goes behind there, and it's the temperature piece for the climate control. It allows the climate control to work. Anyway, stabilizer, bar links, wiper blades. Anyway, everything I've ever done for it, I got it in my logbook, and I have the receipts for it. Not much else about this truck that gets you, it doesn't bring you up to speed. It's been a great truck. We love it. It's in great shape, besides the one dent that just got put in there 2 months ago. But, and it's not without its warts. It's got warts, it's got little dings here. But with 270,000 miles in 15 years, you should expect them. Paint's not flawless with that many miles, but it presents well. Anyway, if you like the video, like the video.